I hate you. I really do.
I told myself I hated her. I told everyone I hated her. I even told her I hated her. But when Sophia Anderson kissed me in the cold night air, I finally had to face the truth. I'd been lying to myself all along. I liked trivia night for exactly 3 reasons. 1, it was predictable. 2, the pub was only an 8-minute walk from my apartment. And 3, it didn't require real socializing, just fast answers, dry sarcasm, and occasionally pretending to laugh at Sam's chaotic sense of humor. So when Sam texted that she was bringing her new crush to tonight's game, I barely blinked. Sam had a new crush every few weeks. It was practically a scheduled event at this point. I showed up 10 minutes early, like always, claimed our usual corner table, pulled out my color-coded notebook, and ran through practice questions until Sam crashed into the booth, breathless and grinning. "She's coming," Sam said, fixing her curls in the reflection of her phone screen. "Be nice." "I'm always nice," I muttered, not looking up from my notes. Sam snorted. "You're nice, like a shark is gentle." Before I could reply, a voice cut through the low buzz of the pub. "Hello, Parker." My pen stopped mid-scratch. I looked up, and everything, the half-filled glass of water, the comforting dim lighting, the entire illusion of normalcy froze. Standing across from me, wearing a worn leather jacket and that familiar, infuriating smirk, was Sophia Anderson. "What are you doing here?" I asked, voice flat. Sophia shrugged, sliding into the seat across from me like this was casual, like it had ever been casual between us. "I transferred this semester. Sam and I have stats together. She asked me to come." I turned to Sam, who was beaming like she'd just won the lottery. "You didn't say she was your crush," I hissed under my breath. Sam blinked. "Wait, you two know each other?" "We went to high school together," Sophia answered easily. "Same AP classes, same debate team, same detention once, too. But that was her fault." My jaw clenched. "You unplugged the projector during my presentation, only to test how fast you could recover," Sophia said, that smirk deepening. "You did okay." The worst part wasn't the smugness, it was the fact that Sophia still looked the same. Same sharp eyes, same dark waves of hair she always pretended weren't perfectly styled, like she hadn't disappeared halfway through senior year without a word. Like she hadn't left behind years of unfinished rivalry, tension, and whatever else had never been said aloud. It wasn't just classes. We'd been in the same friend group by circumstance more than choice. Sophia had shown up out of nowhere sophomore year and just slid in. Everyone liked her. She made people laugh, charmed teachers, coasted through presentations like they were parties. And me? I had worked for everything. Fought to be heard, to be respected, and no matter how fast I ran, Sophia was already at the finish line, smiling like it was easy. I had hated it. Had hated her. Sam, oblivious to the tension crackling between us, clapped her hands together. "You two must have so much to catch up on." My stare could have frozen glass. Trivia started. I thought I could tune Sophia out. I was wrong, she answered confidently. Even when she was wrong, she challenged my answers not because she had better ones, but because she could. Every time I opened my mouth, Sophia was there, cutting in, nudging, smirking like it was all just a game. It was just like high school. Only worse, because now we were adults, and I didn't have the buffer of classroom structure or the safety of detachment. This had been my space, my one routine, the only thing in my life not touched by the past. And now Sophia was sitting across from me, joking with Sam, winning over the table like she always did. We won, of course. Top score. I should have felt a spark of pride. I didn't. "You were amazing," Sam said, throwing an arm around Sophia's shoulder. "You have to join our team full-time." My stomach dropped. The words hit like a slap. Sophia raised an eyebrow. "You sure Parker won't mind?" Sam laughed, like it was a joke. I didn't. But I forced a smile, sharp, hollow. Welcome to the team. And just like that, my sanctuary shattered. The one thing I'd let myself enjoy, claimed by Sophia Anderson again. I didn't stay for drinks. Didn't wait for Sam to walk home with me. I left the pub with my steps too fast, heart pounding too loud, and Sophia's voice echoing in my ears. Hello, Parker. Like nothing had changed. Like everything had. The weeks that followed were a special kind of torture. Sophia didn't just join trivia night, she became a fixture in my entire social circle. Sam invited her to everything. Game nights at the apartment, study sessions at the library, random coffee runs that somehow always included her. And the worst part? Everyone loved her, just like before. Kate, tall and sharp-eyed with her all-black eyeliner and permanent sarcasm, found Sophia hilarious. Isabella, gentle and soft-spoken with her flower print hoodies, thought Sophia was sweet. Even Sam, who should have been on my side, seemed enchanted. I tried to keep my distance. I really did. But Sophia had this way of always being there. In my space. In my line of sight. In my thoughts when I didn't want her to be. Like that day in the library. I'd claimed my favorite table near the window, not too close to the shelves, not too close to the printers. Just right. My notes were organized, my coffee was still warm, the lighting was soft, everything was perfect. Until someone pulled out the chair across from me. I didn't even have to look up. I already knew. Hey, Parker. Of course. Sophia. I lifted my eyes slowly. There are plenty of empty tables. Sophia was already sitting down, dropping her bag next to the chair and opening a notebook. I don't see your name on this one. I stared. You're impossible. I get that a lot. I turned back to my screen and tried to focus, but Sophia was impossible to ignore. She kept shifting in her seat, tapping her pen, flipping pages way too loudly. Can you not? I whispered. I'm just sitting here. You're doing it loudly. Sophia grinned, still not looking at me. Sorry I exist so loudly for you. I looked down at my notes again, trying to will my concentration back. Then Sophia leaned in, reaching across the table to point at something in my notebook. I froze. It wasn't dramatic, just a quick, casual movement. But Sophia's hand was close, too close. Her arm brushed the edge of my page. Her voice was lower than usual. You spelled this wrong. I blinked. Just for a second, the closeness sent a weird spark up my neck like static, like surprise, like I'd noticed something I didn't want to. I pulled my notebook back fast. Why are you reading my notes? I was bored. Sophia leaned back again, unbothered. Still neat, though. You always had weirdly perfect handwriting. I stared at her. Stop trying to sound nice. It's creepy. Okay, it's boring handwriting and you spelled sociology wrong. I didn't. I looked down. Shut up. Sophia laughed quietly and went back to reading. We both kept working. Sort of. Every few minutes, Sophia would sigh or stretch or hum under her breath. I didn't say anything, but I didn't move to another table either. And that was the problem, wasn't it? I could have left at any time, but I didn't. Sam's apartment was warm with that chaotic, lived-in charm. Fairy lights blinked unevenly across the walls. Blankets were piled everywhere. Mismatched mugs crowded every surface. It smelled like microwave popcorn and scented candles that clashed. I kicked off my shoes and dropped my coat on the couch. Hey, you made it, Sam greeted from the floor, hair up in a messy bun, socked feet tucked under her. I thought you'd bail. I almost did, I said flatly, eyeing the snack table. Sam grinned. We're keeping it civil tonight. Promise. No trivia? Why not? Because I'd like the game night to survive longer than 10 minutes, Sam said loud enough for everyone to hear. And I know if we played trivia, it wouldn't be a game. It'd be a blood sport. She looked pointedly between me and someone in the doorway. I froze. Sophia was standing there. Again. Hello, Parker, she said, like it was a greeting and a challenge at once. Anderson, I replied, every syllable flat and dry. Kate looked up from the game pieces she was sorting. You two know each other? They went to high school together, Sam offered casually, grabbing a drink. Kate smirked. Rivals or ex-wives? The details are fuzzy. Sophia grinned and flopped down on the floor beside the coffee table. Monopoly tonight? Thought I'd go classic, Sam said. We're adults. We can handle it. I snorted. Sophia glanced at me. Something funny? I just don't think you've ever finished a Monopoly game in your life. I don't think anyone has. Some of us have the attention span. Some of us have lives. Isabella, the quietest of the group, cleared her throat softly. Should we start? I ended up across the board from Sophia. Again. 15 minutes in, the tension had settled into a rhythm. Sophia kept buying every railroad. I kept making passive-aggressive comments about poor investment strategies. Kate started hoarding properties out of spite. Isabella just tried not to breathe too loudly. Why would you put a hotel there? I asked, watching Sophia drop a red block on Baltic Avenue. Sophia didn't look up. It's called diversifying your assets, Parker. You should try it sometime. It's called wasting your money. Sorry. Do you work for Parker Brothers now? Are you still pretending this is how the game works? Kate whistled under her breath. This is better than TV. Sam leaned back on the couch, chewing on a Twizzler. Honestly, this is why I didn't pick trivia. You two wouldn't answer a single question. You'd just argue about how to answer it. She wiggled her eyebrows. And I say that with love. I rolled my eyes. It's not arguing. It's clarifying. Sophia nodded, mock serious. Right. You were always great at clarifying, especially when it involved proving someone wrong. You're not hard to prove wrong. Then I must be doing so much for your ego. I don't need help with that, thanks. I know. The table went quiet for a second. I looked down at my cards. Boardwalk, Park Place, and one get-out-of-jail-free card I was seriously considering using on myself. By the time someone finally declared bankruptcy, Isabella, who sighed in relief as she bowed out, I had a headache, and Sophia had all 4 railroads, 3 oranges, and a pile of play money stacked like a trophy. Same time next week? Sam asked, completely unfazed. I'll bring something easier, Isabella said, like a Ouija board. Kate stood and stretched. Only if we make Sophia and Olivia sit next to each other again. I'm invested now. I didn't answer. I packed my properties quickly, shoved my chair in too hard, and muttered something about needing to read for class. Sophia, still sitting, didn't say anything, but her smile lingered. I started noticing things I shouldn't have. The way Sophia always ordered her coffee black, no sugar. The way she chewed on the end of her pen when she was thinking. The way her eyes softened just a fraction when Isabella told a story, like she was genuinely listening. I told myself it didn't matter, that I was just observant, that it was completely normal to catalog every tiny detail about someone you used to hate. Used to? That was the problem, wasn't it? I didn't hate Sophia anymore. I wasn't sure I ever really had. Because hate didn't make your heart race when someone walked into a room. Hate didn't make you hyper-aware of every word, every glance, every accidental brush of hands reaching for the same bowl of popcorn. Hate didn't make you feel this, and I didn't know what to do with that. Sam thought she was being subtle. She wasn't. The movie night invitation came with very specific instructions. Casual, cozy, just us. But the moment I walked in and saw the setup, soft lighting, 2 kinds of popcorn, a movie queued up that was just romantic enough to make people feel something, I knew exactly what she was doing. Hey, you made it, Sam greeted. Too chipper to be innocent. I shrugged out of my coat slowly. You said you weren't sure if Sophia was coming. I wasn't, Sam said, wide-eyed. And then she did. Isn't that fun? Kate snorted from the couch. I scanned the room. Couch. Taken. Chair. Blocked by a pile of blankets and Kate's legs. Arm of the couch. Occupied by Isabella. Cross-legged with a mug of tea. The only free space? One cushion, right next to Sophia. I stared at it like it had personally insulted me. Sophia didn't move. She just tilted her head, waiting to see what I would do. With a silent, resigned breath, I stepped forward and lowered myself onto the cushion, keeping as much distance as I could without falling off the edge. I sat stiff, arms folded, legs crossed tightly, eyes forward. Sophia, still stretched out and relaxed, leaned a fraction closer. "You're sitting like you're in a job interview." "I'm sitting like I don't want to be touched," I replied without looking at her. "Then you probably shouldn't have chosen the only seat next to me." "You mean the seat you clearly planned for me? Did I fluff the cushion too much?" Sophia asked, mocked concerned. "That's on me." From the couch, Kate whispered to Isabella. "Do they know they're being weird, or is this just their whole thing?" Isabella just sipped her tea. The movie started. Some soft indie romance with long silences and way too many scenes of people staring out windows. The kind of film that made you feel like you were supposed to be feeling something deep. I wasn't watching it. Not really. I was too aware of the cushion dipping slightly every time Sophia shifted. Too aware of the warmth between us. Too aware of the fact that every time I exhaled, Sophia was right there. And Sophia, she was quiet, which was worse. Because silence meant Sophia was thinking. And when Sophia was thinking, I usually ended up annoyed, flustered, or both. Halfway through, I reached for the popcorn bowl at the same time Sophia did. Our hands brushed. Sophia pulled back instantly, but not before giving me that look. That stupid, unreadable, smug look. "Sorry," Sophia said, not sounding sorry. "Try being faster next time," I muttered. Kate raised an eyebrow without looking away from the screen. "You two ever do anything quietly?" "No," Sophia said. "Yes," I said at the same time. Everyone snorted. I didn't move for the rest of the movie. I sat still, eyes on the screen, thoughts nowhere near it. When the credits rolled and someone turned the lights on, I stood up like I'd been waiting to escape for the last hour, which I had. Sam smiled at me, all innocence. "Leaving already?" I grabbed my coat. "Some of us have class tomorrow." "You didn't even say goodbye," Sophia called out behind me. I didn't turn around. "Bye." I let the door close behind me a little too hard. My phone buzzed later that night. I was halfway through my reading. Highlighter in one hand, notes neatly aligned beside me. The sentence I was writing trailed off as I reached for my phone. One message. From a number not saved in my contacts. "You still twitch when you're mad, by the way. It's weirdly charming. Try to work on that. Or don't." I blinked at it for a full 10 seconds. No name, no context, just pure, unfiltered Sophia. Of course. Of course it was her. I stared at the message like it was a bomb someone had casually tossed through my window. Then I set my phone down, picked it back up, typed a reply, deleted it twice. Finally, I settled on the only thing that felt safe. "How do you have my number?" A few seconds passed. Then the typing bubble appeared. "Sam gave it to me. For study emergencies. This counts." I stared at that for a while, resisting the urge to throw my phone across the room. I hadn't even realized Sophia paid that much attention. That she remembered something as small as the way my face reacted when I was trying not to yell. No one noticed things like that. Or if they did, they didn't say it. They didn't call it charming. I didn't know what to do with that. Another message popped in. "Seriously, though, I always liked that about you." That one, I didn't respond to. I turned my phone face down on the desk, picked up my pen again, and stared blankly at my notes. Nothing on the page made sense anymore. Sam had framed the weekend trip as a break. A reset. A small cabin thing, no stress, no drama, just us. I should have known better. Because now, standing in Sam's apartment surrounded by half-packed bags and an open group snack pile, I finally asked the one question I should have started with. "Wait, is Sophia coming?" Sam, sitting on the floor, folding clothes like she was prepping for a Pinterest photo shoot, barely looked up. "Yeah," I told her about it last week. I stared. You didn't tell me about it last week. I thought you knew, Sam said with the kind of casual tone that always meant she was lying. I looked around for backup. Kate was lounging sideways on the couch with her feet on the coffee table, phone in one hand and a bag of trail mix in the other. I tried to sound reasonable. I failed. Why do you even like her? Sam blinked at me. As a person? I raised both eyebrows. As anything. Sam paused, thinking. Well, I don't like her anymore, if that's what you're asking. I wasn't. I started, then stopped. Whatever. Sam smiled. She's cool, Olivia. She's funny. And I kind of love how flustered you get when she's around. I do not get flustered. Right, Sam said, clearly not believing me. Kate looked up from her phone. You kind of do. It's like you're allergic to her presence. You get twitchy. I don't get twitchy. You sound twitchy right now, Kate said. I opened my mouth, then shut it again. This was ridiculous. I crossed my arms and leaned against the doorframe, trying to look unbothered. I probably didn't pull it off. Isabella walked in from the kitchen carrying a stack of travel mugs. Wait, what are we talking about? Olivia's secret emotional spiral about Sophia being hot and annoying, Kate offered. I nearly choked. I never said that. You didn't have to, Sam said sweetly. I gave her the flattest look I could manage. Sam held up her hands in mock surrender. Look, you don't have to talk to her. You can spend the whole weekend hiding in your bunk bed writing angry emails. Just don't act surprised when she shows up. I hated that I was already planning how to sit far enough away from Sophia in the car. Hated that I was thinking about which jacket would be best for pretending I was asleep. Mostly, I hated that my friends were enjoying this so much. The car ride was cramped. Not physically. There was enough space. Sophia was in the back, wedged between Isabella and a giant bag of snacks. I was up front next to Sam, pretending to be interested in the road signs. The real issue wasn't space. It was the sound of Sophia laughing behind me. Again and again. Everyone liked her. It was happening all over again. I kept my gaze out the window, jaw tight. I hadn't said much since we left. No one noticed. Sophia had somehow told 3 stories already. One about a cursed group project in high school, another about a night shift job she had last summer, and now something about a raccoon stealing her laundry. Kate was crying, laughing. Isabella had turned fully in her seat to hear better. And Sam just kept smiling like this was the best idea she'd ever had. I didn't get it. I never got it. Sophia had transferred into my high school halfway through sophomore year, and within 2 weeks, she was everywhere. In our friend group, on our debate team, in every AP class I cared about. She didn't even try to fit in. She just did, effortlessly. And now, years later, here she was again, slipping into my new life, my new friends, like she belonged. I had worked for this. I'd started over, built a group where I finally felt like myself. And then Sophia showed up and smiled at everyone, and now she was coming to a weekend trip like it was nothing, like she wasn't ruining everything again. Sam turned the music down. We're stopping for gas. I didn't respond. Sophia leaned forward between the seats slightly, just enough for her voice to float into my space. You okay up there, Parker? I didn't turn around. Peachy. You look peachy, Sophia said. I could hear the grin in her voice. I clenched my jaw harder. When we finally pulled up to the cabin, Sam jumped out first. Welcome to our tiny getaway. Kate was already filming the trees. Isabella opened the trunk. Sophia stretched, like she hadn't just driven everyone insane. I got out last, grabbed my bag, kept my head down, and walked straight toward the cabin door. Behind me, Sophia was still talking to Sam, making her laugh. Just like old times. The cabin looked smaller inside than it had in the pictures. One main room with a fireplace and a half-functional TV, a little kitchen off to the side, and 2 narrow hallways that led to the bedrooms. It had that fake rustic charm plaid pillows, wooden signs that said things like live, laugh, lake, and the faint smell of pine-scented cleaning spray. Everyone dropped their bags just inside the door. Sam clapped her hands together like a camp counselor. All right, time for room assignments. I stood near the wall, arms crossed. There were 4 bedrooms. One had bunk beds. The others were just small, shared doubles. I didn't care where I ended up, as long as it wasn't with— Okay, Sam said brightly. So Olivia and Sophia can take the corner room. My head snapped up. What? Sam held up both hands fast. Kidding, chill. Sophia was already grinning. I glared at Sam. That's not even a funny joke. Sam didn't answer right away. She looked at Sophia and gave her a quick wink. Sorry, Sophia, Sam said. Tried my best. I turned sharply. Tried your best, what? Sophia snorted and looked down, clearly trying not to laugh. Sam grinned. To wingwoman, my girl Sophia. I stared. You're what now? I'm just saying, Sam said, backing toward the hallway with her hands still in the air. 2 academically gifted, emotionally repressed sapphics sharing one rustic cabin? Come on, that's half a movie plot already. I opened my mouth to speak, but couldn't decide which words to use first. Meanwhile, Sophia was full-on laughing now. Hands on her hips like this was the funniest thing she'd seen all week. I hate all of you, I muttered. I love you too, Sam called over her shoulder. Sophia walked past me to grab her bag, still grinning. For the record, I would have been a great roommate. I crossed my arms. You talk in your sleep, don't you? Sophia raised an eyebrow. Do I? Feels like something you'd do. Sophia looked over her shoulder. Still thinking about how much I talk, huh? I made a strangled noise and walked off in the opposite direction. Behind me, Sophia laughed again, soft, knowing, and way too pleased with herself. It started with something small. Kate made a joke, nothing serious. Just something about how I always sat across from Sophia, like we were in a permanent game of academic chess. Everyone laughed. Sophia laughed too, and maybe that's what did it. Because suddenly I felt like I was back in high school again. In the middle of the group, but never quite in it. Always the one being laughed about, never the one who laughed first. I stood up without a word. Where are you going? Sam asked. I grabbed my hoodie from the back of a chair. Fresh air. I didn't wait for a response. Just shoved the door open and stepped outside into the cold. The trees were dark silhouettes against the cabin lights. Gravel crunched under my shoes as I walked faster than necessary. Jaw tight, heart pounding. I didn't know why it bothered me. The joke wasn't mean. The moment wasn't serious. But the way Sophia had looked at me like she knew exactly what I was feeling made me want to scream. I heard the door open again behind me. Of course. Sophia. I didn't slow down. Don't. Too late, Sophia said, catching up with zero effort. What's the problem this time? You! Wow. Straight to the point. I stopped walking, turned. You do this. You slide into every space like you belong there. Everyone loves you. You act like it's all so easy. I didn't realize being likable was a crime, Sophia said. I laughed once, bitter. It is when you keep taking things that don't belong to you. What? Sophia's voice rose slightly. Like a trivia team? A seat in class? A cabin invite? My friends, I snapped. The words hung in the cold air between us. Sophia stared at me. Olivia. You do this thing, I continued, my voice shaking now. You charm people and they let you in, and I'm just there, watching you do it again. We stared at each other, breath fogging in the cold air. And what? Sophia asked, voice quieter now. You hate me for it? Still? I don't know what I started, then stopped. The silence stretched between us, heavy and raw. Then I took a half step forward. Not enough to touch, just enough to close part of the distance. My eyes flicked to Sophia's mouth, then back to her eyes, then down again. I didn't say anything. I just started to lean in, slow, careful, like I didn't trust myself. And right before our mouths could meet, Sophia said it. Aren't you afraid of catching some disease? Her voice was light, teasing, almost gentle. I froze. The words landed like a jolt. The party, the game, spin the bottle. My own voice from years ago, sharp and cruel and scared, echoing back at me. You're unbelievable, I said, breath catching in my chest. I turned to walk away again, but Sophia caught my hand. It wasn't rough. It wasn't rushed. I turned, and Sophia was already moving, closing the space between us, hands still wrapped around mine. And then Sophia kissed me. Slowly, carefully, like she was giving me a chance to stop it. But I didn't stop. I stepped in like I'd been holding it back for years, like the pressure finally snapped. I pulled Sophia in by the collar of her jacket, and the kiss deepened fast, too fast. My hands found Sophia's face, her jaw, her hair. I kissed like it was an argument I finally knew how to win. Sophia made a small, surprised sound against my mouth but didn't pull away. Didn't want to. I didn't think. Didn't breathe. Just kissed her harder. The moment shattered as fast as it happened. 1 second, I was kissing Sophia like I couldn't stop. Like the last 5 years had built toward this. Like I needed it. The next second, I pulled back like I'd touched fire. My voice came out too loud, too sharp. "What are you doing?" Sophia blinked. Pretty sure I was just finishing what you started right before I pissed you off." I stepped back, heartbeat hammering. I could still feel it. Sophia's hands. The heat. The way her lips had moved like she knew. Like she'd been waiting for this moment to finally happen. And I had kissed her back. Hard. Like I meant it. Which was the problem? Sophia was still looking at me with that unreadable look in her eyes. Calm. Curious. A little smug. And underneath it, something I couldn't afford to name. "So," Sophia said, tilting her head. "How was it, Parker?" My voice snapped out before my brain could catch up. "That was the worst kiss I've ever had!" Sophia's eyebrows lifted slightly. "Damn, that's harsh." She shrugged like it didn't matter, like it hadn't meant anything. "Okay, noted. I'll never do it again, then." She turned away like it was nothing. Like my heart wasn't still pounding in my chest. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. Because if I opened my mouth again, I wasn't sure what would come out. When I stepped back into the cabin, the warmth hit me like a wall. Sophia was already inside, sprawled out casually on the couch with a drink in one hand, her whole body draped in ease like she hadn't just blown my entire world sideways. The others were still in the main room. Sam curled up near the armrest. Isabella sitting cross-legged on the rug with a cup of tea. Kate leaning against the arm of the couch, flipping through someone's playlist on her phone. I hesitated at the door for half a second longer than I meant to. I wasn't thinking about the kiss. Not at all. I definitely wasn't thinking about how soft Sophia's mouth had been, or how easy it would have been to pull her back in, or how badly I wanted to do it again. Isabella looked up. "Hey, were you guys out on a walk or something?" Before I could say a word, Sophia cut in light, smooth, grinning. "Nah," she said, lounging back with a lazy shrug. "We were just making out." My heart jumped, then sank. My fingers curled at my sides. Kate snorted. "Right. That's the most romantic gravel path in history. Cabin love story of the century," Isabella said, sipping her tea. Sam laughed through her nose. "Oh my God, could you imagine the drama?" Sophia joined in with a breathy laugh, shaking her head like it was all ridiculous. "Seriously, could you guys imagine?" She waved her free hand in the air dramatically. "Olivia Parker kissing me? Come on." I walked stiffly across the room and sat down next to her on the couch. Not because I wanted to, I told myself, but because it was the only open spot, the only quiet move in a room full of noise. Sophia shifted slightly, still playing to the room. "I mean, look at her," she said, nodding toward me with a crooked smile. You think she'd ever actually kiss me? Before I could react, Sophia lifted her arm and so casually it could have been nothing, draped it over the back of the couch behind my shoulders, just barely not touching me. It felt like electricity. I didn't move, didn't look at her. My whole body was too busy trying to stay still, to keep from leaning in again, to not react. The teasing wasn't what got to me. It was the way Sophia said it. The ease, the grin, the laugh, the memory of her mouth. It was the fact that I had already done it, kissed her, wanted to again, and now I had to sit here like none of it meant anything. I crossed my arms and said nothing, fixing my eyes on the fake fireplace like it might save me. Sophia's arm didn't move. Her laugh softened. I wanted to scream, or maybe kiss her again until she stopped smiling like that. The cabin was mostly quiet now, just the low hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of old wood settling. I padded into the kitchen in socks, hoodie zipped up, hair shoved into a messy bun that didn't do much to hide how flushed I still felt. I wasn't avoiding anyone. I just needed water. That's it. The overhead light was off, but there was enough glow from the stove display to see someone was already there. Sophia, leaning against the counter like she'd been waiting. Hoodie sleeves pushed to her elbows, barefoot, too comfortable, too at home. Of course, she didn't even flinch when she saw me, just raised her can like a toast.
Can't sleep either?
I'm not here to talk, I said, already opening the cabinet. You never are. I grabbed a glass. You're everywhere lately. I'm in the kitchen, Parker. Not your diary. I filled my cup and took a sip, keeping my eyes on the sink. I didn't want to look at Sophia. Not again. You're making it a thing, I said, voice low. What thing? That kiss? Sophia paused. Oh, that kiss. I glared at her. You're enjoying this way too much. I would enjoy it a lot more if you'd stop acting like I forced you. I never said that. No. You just kissed me like you meant it and then said it was the worst kiss of your life. Totally normal behavior. I crossed my arms. You ambushed me. Sophia raised an eyebrow. I kissed you softly. You're the one who went feral. I didn't. Sophia's look said everything. I shut my mouth. There was a long silence. The fridge clicked on in the background. I glanced at Sophia's mouth. Just for a second. Barely. Sophia caught it. No, no, she said quietly, eyes sparkling. Don't look at me like that. Like what? I whispered. Sophia took a step closer, close enough that I could smell the citrus of her shampoo. Like I'm the worst kiss you ever had. I didn't move. My hand tightened around the glass in my fingers. Sophia leaned in just a little more. Close enough to kiss, but didn't. Here's the deal, she murmured, voice warm and low. I'm not kissing you again until you tell the truth. I swallowed. Or, Sophia added, mouth just inches from mine now. Until you kiss me. Then she stepped back easy and smug, like she hadn't just lit my nerves on fire. Good night, Parker. She walked out of the kitchen without looking back. I stood there for a long time, still holding the glass, still not breathing. The trip was over. The group chat hadn't shut up in 2 days. Kate was already trying to book another cabin. Isabella kept sending raccoon memes. It should have felt normal. It didn't. I sat on my bed with my knees pulled up and my laptop open, pretending to scroll through notes I wasn't reading. My room was quiet, just the low hum of the desk fan and the occasional buzz from my phone. Everything was back in place, except me, because even now, days later, I could still feel it. That moment, that kiss, that stupid kiss. It wasn't just that it happened, it was what it cracked open. Like something I'd sealed off years ago had split wide and wouldn't stop leaking. Sophia had always been a problem. From the minute she transferred in, too confident, too loud, too charming for her own good, I had hated it. That's what I told myself anyway. Sophia had a way of turning heads without trying. Teachers loved her. Strangers loved her. People just liked her. And me? I'd been the one next to her, the one working twice as hard to be taken seriously, the one watching Sophia breeze through everything like life was a game she always won. I hated that smile, that smirk, that voice, the way Sophia always seemed to be in on something that I wasn't. But now, alone with no audience, no Sophia to deflect against, I let myself admit what I'd never dared to say out loud. I didn't hate Sophia. I never had. I watched her, constantly, clocked every entrance, every exit, noticed when she changed her hair, heard her laugh even in crowded rooms. I'd always had something to say to Sophia, something sharp, something pointed. And now it was obvious why. It wasn't hate. It wasn't rivalry. I liked her. I had liked her for a long time. I just didn't know what to do with it. Didn't know how to want someone like Sophia. So I didn't. I wrapped the feeling in barbed wire and named it irritation. I sharpened it into something I could control. Because liking Sophia meant being vulnerable. And Sophia was smug, unshakable, impossible to read. I had spent so long convincing myself that someone like Sophia would never want someone like me. So I'd called it hate. And it worked. Until it didn't. I squeezed my eyes shut, fingers digging into the edge of my blanket. I wanted to forget the kiss, the heat, the way Sophia had looked at me after, not surprised, not smug, just waiting, like she'd known. And I had panicked, lied, shut it all down. But it hadn't gone away. Now it lived just under my skin, humming, pressing against me every time I saw Sophia's name in the chat, or remembered the way her voice dropped to that low, teasing murmur. I opened my eyes. I needed it to stop. I needed this thing out of my system. I needed control back, and if I couldn't kill the feeling, maybe I could smother it, distract it, redirect it. Anything to make it go quiet again. It didn't have to be real. It just had to look convincing. Even to me. I didn't call it a plan. I wasn't that obvious. I just said yes. When Jonah from my seminar class asked if I wanted to come to his friend's party, I said yes. When he asked if I wanted to meet there or walk over together, I said yes again. It wasn't a date. It didn't have to be. It was just company. It was just someone who wasn't Sophia. The party wasn't big. Some off-campus apartment with too many string lights and someone's playlist that couldn't decide if it was indie pop or chaotic bisexual angst. Familiar faces filled the space. Kate was already dancing. Isabella perched on the kitchen counter. Sam was talking with her hands to someone I didn't recognize. Sophia wasn't there yet. I walked in with Jonah beside me, laughing at something he said that I didn't really hear. I smiled anyway, nodded, kept my posture loose, kept my tone light. If I looked fine, maybe I'd feel fine. It worked for about 10 minutes. And then Sophia walked in. Leather jacket, easy smile, no one on her arm. She spotted Sam first, then Kate. She waved, said something that made them laugh. Didn't see me at first, but when she did, I watched the shift happen. Sophia's eyes landed on me and Jonah and held for just a beat too long. No change in expression, no comment, just a small flick of her gaze before she looked away. Like it didn't matter, like it didn't bother her. And that was the problem, because I wanted it to. More than I was willing to admit. Jonah touched my arm, leaned in to say something. I smiled again, forced, tight. I glanced back across the room. Sophia was already talking to someone else. Unbothered. I took a sip of my drink, then a longer one, then another. Sophia was laughing again. That low, smooth laugh that always found a way under my skin. Like she had nothing to prove. Like she wasn't thinking about me at all. The girl she was with, tall, model pretty, hair curled just right, was leaning in too close. Her hand brushed Sophia's arm. I didn't think. I just moved. I crossed the room, cut through the noise, and grabbed Sophia's wrist. Sophia turned, surprised but not annoyed. "Come with me," I said, tightly. I didn't look at the girl. I didn't look back. Sophia followed. She always did. We slipped into a side hallway, then into an unlit room. Quiet, dim, private. The door clicked shut behind us. Sophia leaned casually against it, one hand in her jacket pocket, eyes on me. I stood in the middle of the room, arms crossed, trying to stop my pulse from climbing up my throat. "You're not jealous," Sophia said. "Not a question." I scoffed. "Should I be?" Sophia smiled, slow and amused. "Right. Forgot you were busy melting under his fake little laugh. She was basically crawling into your lap. I didn't invite her to. You didn't stop her." Sophia took a small step forward. "Why does it bother you?" "It doesn't." Sophia gave me a look that said sure. Another step. "You were watching me the whole time, weren't you?" I didn't respond. Didn't move either. Sophia stepped again. Closer now. Close enough that I could feel the pressure of her presence, the way the room felt smaller with every breath. "Do you want me to be jealous?" Sophia asked, voice lower, rougher. I rolled my eyes but said nothing. My back hit the wall. Sophia followed. And just like that, my body betrayed me. Goosebumps, heat. My hands clenched at my sides. Sophia saw it. Of course she did. And her voice dropped even more. "I don't need to be jealous, Olivia." Her fingers brushed my waist. Barely there. My breath caught in my chest. "Do you know why?" Sophia leaned in. Close enough to steal my balance. Close enough to ruin me. "Because I see the way you look at me." A pause. "And I see how your body reacts when I get this close." Her hand didn't press, just hovered. Light, deliberate. "I'm not jealous of him," she whispered, her mouth near my ear now. "Because I already know." I couldn't move. "And you shouldn't be jealous of her," Sophia murmured. "Because I only see you." Then she stepped back. No smirk, no laugh, just her eyes. Steady, sure, dangerous. "Let me know when you're ready to stop pretending," she said softly. Then she turned and walked out. And I was left behind, back against the wall. Fire under my skin, and no way to pretend it didn't get to me. I woke up with a dull ache behind my eyes, a stranger's blanket twisted around my legs, and Sam's phone alarm chirping somewhere from the kitchen. Right. Not a stranger's blanket. Sam's. I was still at the apartment. I vaguely remembered Sam half carrying me from the party to the couch, muttering something about one drink too many and zero emotional regulation. Which rude, but not inaccurate. Now I sat up slowly, hoodie bunched, mouth dry, and regret pooling in my stomach. Sam wandered in, hair a mess, 2 mugs in hand. She offered one. "Thanks," I mumbled. Sam plopped into the chair across from me. "You're welcome, lightweight." I scowled. "You're evil." Only on mornings after, we drank in silence. Warm mug, cool room, distant city noise. Just enough quiet to pretend everything was fine. Until Sam said, like she was asking about the weather, "Can I ask you something?" I didn't look up. "Yeah, of course." Sam's voice stayed casual. Too casual. "Do you like Sophia?" I blinked. "What?" "Absolutely not." "Great," Sam said, standing to grab her phone. "Because she went home with that girl from last night." My head snapped up. "She what?" Sam turned, completely unbothered. "Yeah, the cheekbone goddess she was talking to. Gone together. I saw them leave." My stomach flipped. My chest went tight. "You're kidding." "Nope. They were out before I even dragged your lifeless body off the bathroom floor." "She actually took her home?" I asked, voice thin. Sam raised her mug. "Cheers to rebound hookups." I just blinked. My brain short-circuited. Words tried to form and failed. And then Sam grinned. That evil, smug, knows too much grin. "Bam," she said. "I knew it. What are you talking about? You have a crush on Sophia." "No." "I what?" "I'm just confused about the situation." Sam pointed at me like she was teaching a class. "Olivia, if you didn't have a thing for her, you wouldn't care that she took someone else home." "I don't care. You just looked like someone ran over your dog." I groaned into my hands. God. Sam froze mid-sip. Wait, seriously? I might have a tiny crush, I muttered. Sam slammed her mug down like she'd just won the lottery. My manifestations worked! I glared at her. What? I've been manifesting this since trivia night. The tension, the bickering, the slow burn academic enemies to lover's arc. I earned this. I narrowed my eyes. You're the reason I'm suffering, Sam beamed. And I'd do it again. I exhaled slowly, leaning on the table. I wasn't supposed to like her. It was just rivalry, annoyance, pride. But I stared at the wood grain in the table. She kissed me. Sam went dead quiet. Then what? I winced. Please don't. No, no. You don't get to drop that and move on. She kissed you. I groaned. Azuma. When? Where? Was it like a movie kiss or a drunk dare? Was it soft? Was there tongue? Did your soul leave your body? Okay, calm down. I will not calm down. You've been holding this in. How long ago was this? I hesitated. During the cabin trip. Sam physically fell backward into the chair, clutching her chest. I can't believe you sat here drinking tea and let me think you two were still flirting from a distance when you've been making out in the woods like some enemies to lovers fairy tale. It was one kiss. Was it good? I didn't answer right away. Sam's eyes widened. Olivia, it was really good. Sam pointed both hands at the ceiling. Universe, I see you! I see you! Please never speak again. You're stuck with me. This is now a safe space for all Sophia-related breakdowns. I gave her the flattest look I could manage. I hate you. Sam grinned. You love me, like you love Sophia. I buried my face in my hands. I'm going to vomit. Sam leaned forward, smug. You already did. In my bathroom. And probably because of feelings. Sam's text read, Chill game night. Just trivia. Nothing intense. I showed up anyway. Because staying home meant overthinking about Sophia, and at least at game night, I could see Sophia. Which somehow felt less insane than not seeing her. The moment I walked in, I felt off. Too warm. Kind of floaty. I blamed Sam's apartment heating. Everyone was already there. Kate and Isabella surrounded by snacks, Sam shuffling trivia cards, and Sophia lounging on the couch, looking unfairly good. Hey, Sophia said. Hey, I managed. Just 2 words. But Kate's eyebrow twitched. Trivia time, Sam announced. Partner up or play solo, whatever works. I grabbed a spot on the floor, trying to focus. But the questions blurred together. My head felt heavy. By round 2, I was struggling to track what was happening. The capital of Norway is, Sam read. Stockholm, I said confidently. Everyone stared. That's Sweden, Isabella said gently. What? No, I meant... I blinked hard. Oslo, obviously. Sophia was watching me with narrowed eyes. Next question. Something about Shakespeare. I knew this one. I did. But when I opened my mouth, Romeo and Janet. Kate snorted. Janet? Juliet, I corrected quickly, face burning. I meant Juliet. Parker? You good? Sophia asked. Perfect, Peachy. Never better. The room tilted slightly. Sam started another question, but Sophia cut her off. Hold up. She crawled across the space between us and pressed her hand to my forehead. Damn, Parker, Sophia said. You're hot. Without thinking. I replied, Not as hot as you. Dead silence. Kate choked on her drink. Isabella's eyes went wide. Sam looked like she'd won the lottery. My brain caught up with my mouth. I mean fever hot. Not like I didn't mean, uh-huh, Sophia said. But there was something soft in her eyes. You're burning up. Come on. I'm taking you home. Don't want to go home. I mumbled. You're here. Another silence. Okay, that's it. Sophia stood and pulled me up with her. Someone this sick shouldn't be saying things they'll regret. Won't regret it. I protested weakly. Save it for when you're not delirious, Sophia said, but her voice was gentle. As Sophia guided me toward the door, I caught our friend's expressions. Shock, delight, and in Sam's case, pure vindication. Did she just? Kate whispered. Oh yeah, Isabella whispered back. Finally, Sam added. Can't hear you, I called back, leaning heavily against Sophia. Good, Sam said. Maybe you'll remember this tomorrow. Sophia opened the door, arm secure around my waist. Come on, fever girl, let's get you home before you confess anything else. Already confessed the important stuff, I murmured. The door closed on our friends' stunned faces, leaving me and Sophia alone in the hallway. You're going to be so embarrassed tomorrow, Sophia said, but she was smiling. Probably, I agreed, letting my head rest against her shoulder. Worth it, though. You should eat something, Sophia said, already moving toward my kitchen. Where do you keep soup? I was curled on my couch, wrapped in the blanket Sophia had insisted on. Top left cabinet, I watched through fever-foggy eyes as Sophia moved around my kitchen. Surprisingly careful. Surprisingly quiet. No complaints about the labeled containers or color-coded tea collection, just focused on the task at hand. When Sophia brought over the bowl, she sat down gently beside me. Here, it's not too hot. I took it, waiting for the inevitable comment about my organizational system. But Sophia just watched me with soft eyes. What? I asked weakly. No snarky comment about my labeled spice rack? Sophia shook her head. Not when you're sick. The Sophia Anderson is passing up a chance to mock me? Eat your soup, Parker. But her voice was gentle. I ate slowly while Sophia found medicine and refilled my water glass. Every movement was careful, quiet. When I shivered, Sophia grabbed another blanket without being asked. You're being really nice, I mumbled, confused by this soft version of Sophia. Yeah, well, Sophia checked my forehead again. You're sick, still? It's weird. What's weird? You? Being all gentle? Sophia smiled slightly. Don't worry. I'll go back to annoying the hell out of you once you're better. Promise. Promise? Sophia tucked the blanket around my shoulders. But for now, just rest. My eyes were getting heavy. Stay? I'm not going anywhere, Sophia said softly. As I drifted off, I felt Sophia's hand smooth my hair back from my forehead. Gentle, careful, like I was something precious. It should have felt strange. It didn't. Everything went back to normal. Sort of. We were back to arguing about everything. Whose answer was better in trivia? Which coffee shop made decent espresso? Whether that obscure indie film deserved its hype? Standard Olivia and Sophia stuff. Except now there was this weight underneath it all. Neither of us mentioned the kiss, the fever confession, or the way I had melted when Sophia took care of me. Now we were in Sam's kitchen during game night, arguing about something pointless while everyone else played in the living room. That's not what I said, I snapped, reaching past Sophia for my drink. That's exactly what you said, Sophia replied, leaning against the counter, arms crossed. I said the director was overrated, not the film. Same thing. It's not remotely the same thing. You're so... Sophia pushed off the counter, stepping closer. Why do you always have to be right about everything? And that's when I saw it. Sophia's hand gripping the edge of the counter. Her knuckles were white, and her thumb was tapping against the granite in a rapid, nervous rhythm. Just like my eye twitch. What? Sophia asked, catching my stare. I took a step closer. You always tap your thumb when you're trying not to react. Sophia's hand froze. I don't. You do. I moved even closer, close enough to feel Sophia's sharp intake of breath. You've been doing it since high school. I just never noticed, because I was too busy being angry. Sophia's jaw tightened. Her thumb started tapping again. Faster. I really want to kiss you right now, I said suddenly. Sophia's eyes darkened. So kiss me. No. Sophia crossed her arms. You kiss me. I told you the rules, Parker. I'm not kissing you again until I admit it, I said. Arms still crossed, mouth tight. Sophia smiled slow and sure. The truth. I scoffed. You're so full of yourself. I'm right, though. Fine, I muttered. It wasn't the worst kiss I've ever had. Sophia raised a brow. Wow. Heartfelt. Moving. Want me to send it in a card? Shut up. I'll wait for the real answer. I rolled my eyes, but the flush on my cheeks was giving me away. You're exhausting. Sophia's voice dropped. Softer. Low. Deliberate. Admit it was good. I held her ground. It was tolerable. Sophia said nothing. Just watched me. I sighed. Okay. It was good. Sophia leaned in, voice brushing my skin more than her breath did. She whispered gently, That wasn't so hard, was it? My jaw twitched just enough to show it landed. You say that like you earned something, I muttered. I did, Sophia said. You're insufferable. You're flustered. My voice came out sharp. You look like you're one word away from losing control. Sophia's fingers curled slightly against the edge of the counter. Don't test me, Olivia. Oh, you going to scold me? Write a strongly worded letter to my future girlfriend? My tone was pure sugar and venom. Sophia didn't blink. Why would I write a letter to my future self? I scoffed. Your confidence is genuinely a medical concern. Sophia leaned in a little more. You like it? No, I said. I tolerate it. And then I raised my hand. No hesitation, no sharpness, just steady fingers brushing against Sophia's cheek. My thumb traced the edge of her lip, soft and maddening. Sophia didn't move. I leaned in and kissed her. Not fast, not rough, just real. Sophia kissed me back immediately, one hand on my waist, the other threading into my hair. She deepened it without asking, without waiting, until I was breathless against her. We pulled apart slowly. I didn't move far. My thumb was still on Sophia's jaw. I tilted my head slightly, eyes half-lidded. This one was better. Sophia rolled her eyes slow and exaggerated. Glad I meet your standards, she muttered. I stepped back first, straightening my hoodie, pretending like my heart wasn't still doing cartwheels. Sophia just watched me. Calm, smug, not even. Retry. OS. Continue, pretending to hide the fact that she knew exactly what she'd done to me. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. I just turned toward the living room, and Sophia followed like nothing had happened, which was somehow worse than if she'd followed grinning. When we walked back into the living room, nothing exploded. No one gasped. No one stared. The world didn't shatter, which somehow made it worse. Kate was halfway through setting up a new board game. Isabella was scrolling through her phone. Sam, curled up with a blanket and a smug expression, didn't even bother hiding the way her eyes tracked both of us as we entered. I sat down too quickly, too carefully. My heart was still hammering in my ears, my lips still tingling. And Sophia sat beside me like she hadn't just been kissed against a kitchen counter 30 seconds ago. Normal. She was being normal. I could feel my entire soul vibrating out of my skin. Kate looked up at us. Took you long enough. What were you doing? Shots back there? Sophia didn't blink. Just water. I reached for a throw pillow and hugged it to my chest like a life vest. We were just talking, I added. Too quickly. Too loudly. Isabella raised an eyebrow. Right. Sam took a long sip of her wine. Nothing worth mentioning, I'm sure. Sophia smiled without looking at me. I wanted to launch myself out the window. They started the game some chaotic card thing Kate had found at a thrift store, and I tried very hard to focus on the rules. I kept my hands busy, my eyes down. Every time Sophia leaned back and our knees brushed, my brain short-circuited. Sophia didn't even glance my way. Or maybe she did. And I was too afraid to look. Kate squinted at me at one point. You okay, Olivia? You look tense. I'm fine, I said way too fast. She's always tense, Sophia added mildly, sipping from her glass. Isabella snorted. Yeah, but this is like extra tense. Sam didn't say anything, just grinned behind her mug like the cryptic matchmaker she was. I gritted my teeth, played my card, didn't meet Sophia's eyes once. And Sophia, she just sat there, smug and relaxed, like she wasn't doing a damn thing. Which, of course, only made it worse. I couldn't sleep. I'd been home for hours, curled up in bed, lights off, phone face down beside me, and still no peace. My brain kept replaying the kiss. Sophia's mouth, her hand in my hair, the way she acted afterward like it hadn't shaken the ground beneath us. I rolled over, buried my face in the pillow, and groaned. I was still warm from it. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. With a sigh, I grabbed it. A message preview lit up the screen. From Sophia. So, was it still just tolerable? Of course. I sat up slowly. My heart skipped in a way I'd rather not acknowledge. I stared at the message for a full 5 seconds before finally typing back. You're really proud of that text, huh? Sophia replied almost instantly. You didn't answer the question. I frowned. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I sent, what do you want me to say? A pause. Just long enough to feel deliberate. Then, let's make it official. One real date. No games, no Sam, just us. I blinked at the screen. My chest tightened. You're serious? Completely. Unless you're scared. I hesitated. Thought about it. Thought about how bad of an idea this probably was. How messy. How complicated. Then typed, send me the time and place. One final reply came through. Tomorrow, 7. I'll pick you up. Wear something that'll make me want to kiss you again. P.S. Not that it'll take much. I stared at it, cheeks heating, heart pounding. I dropped my phone face down on the bed and muttered into the darkness. I hate her. Then immediately corrected myself under my breath. No, I don't. Sophia showed up at 6:59. Of course she did. Not a minute early, not a second late. I opened the door and immediately hated my outfit. My makeup, the way my heart stuttered like an idiot. Sophia looked stupidly good. Black jeans, that same leather jacket. Confidence like it didn't even occur to her to be nervous. You're on time, I said. Sophia tilted her head. What? Were you hoping I'd bail? I grabbed my bag. Would have saved me a wardrobe crisis and an identity crisis. 2 for 1. Sophia grinned. Come on, you'll survive dinner. The restaurant Sophia picked was quiet and warm. All low lighting and soft music. I hated how nice it was. It made everything feel more real. We were seated near a window, across from each other at a tiny table with flickering candles and too much eye contact. I knocked over my fork before I even picked up my menu. Then I misread the specials out loud and said couscous salad instead of couscous. I tried to laugh it off. Sophia just raised an eyebrow, amused. They ordered. I barely remembered what I picked. Halfway through the meal, after nearly spilling my water, I sat back and exhaled a little too loudly. Sophia leaned forward, eyes bright. Wow, you are really trying to tank this date. I blinked. What? No, I'm not. This is just... Sophia waited. I looked down at my plate. It's weird. Us two. Like this. Sophia didn't flinch. Why? We argue, I said. We compete. We don't date. Some people flirt, Sophia said. We bicker. Same thing. I snorted. That's a reach. And yet you're here. That was probably a lapse in judgment. Sophia smiled. You say that, but you've only threatened to leave once so far. I think we're making progress. I tried to glare. It didn't work. So, Sophia said, cutting her food like nothing about this moment was tense. What part of this is freaking you out the most? The eye contact, the candlelight, or the part where you like me? I don't like you. We kissed. Twice. Bad decision-making. You're here. Poor impulse control. Sophia set down her fork and looked right at me. You're cute when you spiral. I'm not spiraling. You are. It's endearing. I grumbled into my glass of water. This was a mistake. And yet, Sophia said, you're still sitting across from me. I didn't have a good comeback for that, which annoyed me. So I ate my food instead. Cheeks hot, heart annoyingly full. The walk back was quiet. Not awkward, just loaded. I kept my hands in my jacket pockets, my head down half the time, trying to will my pulse into submission. Sophia didn't fill the silence. She didn't have to. Every step echoed with everything we hadn't said. We reached my building too soon. Sophia stopped at the bottom of the steps while I pulled out my keys. The air between us stretched, uncertain. So, I said, fiddling with my keyring, you didn't totally hate it? Not even a little, Sophia replied. Though the couscous salad incident almost killed me, I groaned. I will never live that down. Nope, Sophia said, smiling. There was a pause. Sophia took a half step closer. You were nervous. I wasn't. You were. I crossed my arms. I wasn't nervous. I was spatially overwhelmed. That's not a thing. It is if you say it confidently. Sophia smiled again. Not teasing this time. Just soft. Thanks for coming. My breath caught. I hated how much I liked that voice. Low. Genuine. Just for me. I didn't really plan to, I admitted. But then you texted and you couldn't resist. I opened my mouth, closed it again. Then I looked up. You're really not going to kiss me goodnight? Sophia raised an eyebrow. You want me to? I shrugged, but my voice cracked a little. I don't know. You sure? Sophia stepped forward. Slow, deliberate, not touching, but close enough to make my skin buzz. Because you're looking at me like you do. I held my ground. Barely. Sophia leaned in. Close enough that I could feel her breath. Say it, she whispered. I hate you, I muttered. Sophia smiled. That's not what I asked. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. Sophia kissed me again. Slow this time. Certain. No games. When we pulled apart, I was still leaning forward slightly. Like part of me hadn't caught up yet. I'll text you, Sophia said, backing away. Easy as anything. I just nodded. Then turned and opened the door. I stepped inside, shut it behind me, and leaned back against it, heart pounding. I smiled. Just a little. Earlier that day, I had said one thing. One very clear thing. Do not say anything tonight. Sophia, already half-dressed and way too smug for someone who'd just stolen my last clean hoodie, leaned back against the doorway with a lazy smile. Why? You afraid Sam's going to throw a party the second she finds out? She absolutely will, I said, pulling on my jeans. And Kate will ask 20 questions. Isabella will look at us like she's solving a murder. I'm not doing that yet. So, Sophia said, arms crossed. We're still in the secret phase. We're in the not talking about it phase. Right, Sophia muttered. Healthy. Now it was game night. Sam's apartment was loud with music and laughter. The table covered in half-finished snacks, and the floor scattered with card decks no one was really following the rules to. I sat across from Sophia because that was safer, less tempting, less obvious. It was working, sort of. Until Sophia opened her mouth. You overthink every move, she said smugly, flipping a card. Just play something without having an existential crisis. I rolled my eyes. At least I don't talk in my sleep. Silence. Kate looked up from the score sheet. Isabella blinked slowly, like her brain was buffering. Sam raised her eyebrows, already grinning. I froze. I mean, lots of people talk in their sleep. Statistically. Kate tilted her head. Okay, but how would you know Sophia does? I scoffed. I read an article. Isabella blinked. About Sophia. About people in general. Sam was already grinning. So, When exactly did you conduct your in-depth sleep study on Sophia Anderson? I opened my mouth, closed it. Sophia didn't say anything, just raised an eyebrow, like she was waiting for the crash. Kate leaned in. Oh my God, you've stayed over. She turned to Sam. Sam, she stayed over. Isabella gasped. The hoodie, I groaned. This is bullying. Sophia still hadn't said a word, just sat there with that maddening calm, sipping her drink like she wasn't actively watching me combust. Kate pointed at her. Are you seriously not going to deny it? Sophia smiled. Would it help? Sam threw a pillow at the floor. I knew it! I knew it since trivia night! I slumped back into the couch, hiding behind my cup. I knew this would happen. Sophia leaned a little closer, voice low. To be fair, you were the one who brought up my sleep habits. And despite my red cheeks, the noise, the questioning, and the absolute nightmare unfolding around me, I didn't move away. Not from Sophia. Not anymore. Somewhere between Kate's last joke and Sam's victory lap, the night started fading out. I grabbed my jacket without making a big deal of it, and Sophia followed me to the door like we'd done this 100 times before. I felt Sophia behind me before I turned. Calm, unbothered, warm. We stepped into the hall together without saying anything. The door clicked shut behind us. You still embarrassed? Sophia asked, hands in her pockets. I scoffed. After you just sat there and let me verbally out myself in 4K? I didn't say a word. That's exactly what made it worse. Sophia smirked. Then want to come over? She asked, like it wasn't loaded, like she wasn't giving me an easy out. If you're not tired of me yet? Sophia added, a little quieter this time. I didn't miss a beat. Only if I can steal one of your hoodies. Sophia raised a brow, clearly amused. Wow, already moving in. You stole mine first. Yeah, but I looked better in it. Debatable, I muttered. We started walking. Slow. Easy. Then, just before we reached the stairs, I stopped. I turned, leaned in, and kissed her. Not to prove a point, just because I wanted to. When I pulled back, Sophia was still smiling. Thanks, I said. For being patient with me. Sophia bumped our shoulders together. Always. And that was that. No pressure. No secrets. Just us. Sophia didn't mean to make it a thing. She really didn't. One moment, we were walking back from the coffee shop, me with my perfectly ridiculous color-coded planner tucked under one arm, Sophia juggling 2 cups of overpriced seasonal nonsense. And the next? It just slipped out. You know we're basically dating, right? Sophia said casually, like she was commenting on the weather. I missed a step. Literally tripped over the curb. Excuse me? I adjusted my grip on the planner like it might shield me from whatever nonsense Sophia was about to say next. Sophia took a slow sip of her drink, watching me from the corner of her eye. I'm just saying, we spend most days together. You steal half my fries without asking, and somehow I'm always the one carrying the extra coffee. That's not, Sophia raised an eyebrow. And, she added, savoring the moment, last night you texted me at exactly 12:03 a.m. to remind me to bring an umbrella today. That's aggressively girlfriend behavior, Parker. I opened my mouth, closed it, looked suspiciously at my own drink like it might have answers. After a beat, I muttered, So this is us now? Sophia shrugged. Feels like it's been us for a while. We're just saying it out loud for dramatic effect. I huffed, cheeks slightly pink, eyes fixed on my coffee. Fine. But if anyone asks, I'm still deciding if I regret this. Sophia bumped our shoulders together, grinning. Take all the time you need, babe. I'm very patient, I groaned. You're going to be insufferable about this, aren't you? Oh, absolutely. And just like that, it was official. Simple, stupid, perfect. The air in Sophia's room felt warmer than it should, thick with something unspoken. I stood near the door, arms crossed, pretending I wasn't already regretting stepping into the lion's den. Sophia leaned against the bed frame, relaxed but sharp, like a storm waiting for the right moment to hit. "All right," Sophia drawled, her voice low and confident. "Practice time. Let's hear it. Sophia is my girlfriend. Simple. Easy. Even you can handle that, Parker." I lifted my chin, lips curving in that infuriatingly calm way. Think I need a warm-up first." Sophia's brow lifted. "Olivia?" I smiled sweetly, the very picture of innocence. Okay. Sophia is my acquaintance." Not even a flicker of reaction from Sophia, but she pushed off the bed, her arms unfolding, posture shifting with intent. "Try again. Sophia is my persistent academic rival. One slow, deliberate step forward." My heart jumped, but I refused to let it show. "Sophia is my occasional bad decision." Another step. The air between us seemed to shrink with every breath. "Oh, I've got it," I teased, my voice light but a little breathless now. "Sophia is an unavoidable inconvenience." Sophia stopped right in front of me, close enough that I could feel the warmth of her body, her breath brushing soft against my cheek. "Unavoidable inconvenience," Sophia repeated, her mouth barely grazing my ear. "That's the best you've got?" Before I could respond, Sophia's fingers found my waist, her touch firm but teasing, her lips brushing my jaw in a maddeningly slow drag. I clenched my fists at my sides, my breath shaky, but my mouth stubbornly shut. "You're really going to make me work for it," Sophia murmured, lips trailing down to the side of my neck. Each kiss softer, slower, more deliberate than the last. I bit my lip hard, my back pressing into the door, doing everything I could not to give in. "Say it," Sophia whispered against my throat, her voice like a promise wrapped in silk. "Or I'll remind you how long I can keep this up." I shivered but shook my head, just barely managing a breathless, "Not yet." Sophia chuckled quietly, her lips brushing higher, closer to the spot just beneath my ear that made my knees feel dangerously weak. "You're really testing me," she murmured, her fingers slipping under the hem of my shirt, tracing circles against my bare skin. My jaw clenched, my body betraying every inch of my resolve. "Say it," Sophia breathed, pressing closer, her hands sliding up my sides, her mouth at my ear again. "Or I'll keep you like this all night, waiting, wanting, and never quite getting there." My defenses cracked wide open, the words tumbling out with a shaky, uneven breath. "Sophia is my girlfriend." Sophia leaned back just enough to look me in the eye, satisfaction written all over her face, her smile slow and dangerous. "There we go," she murmured, her thumb brushing my lower lip. "Was that so difficult?" I let out a shaky laugh, finally letting my hands curl into Sophia's shirt. "You're impossible!" I breathed. Sophia grinned and leaned in, brushing our lips together in a slow, claiming kiss. "And you," she murmured against my mouth, "are mine." And this time, I didn't argue. Sophia pressed in slowly, her lips barely brushing over mine. "Say it again," she murmured, her tone low and full of command. I bit my lip, breath shaky, but my eyes still holding a spark of defiance. "Sophia is my girlfriend," I admitted, soft, but not entirely surrendered. Sophia smiled against my mouth, dark and satisfied. "Good," she whispered. "Now let's fix that attitude." Before I could shoot back something clever, Sophia's hand slid under my jaw, tilting my chin up, controlling the kiss this time deep, thorough, stealing every last bit of resistance from me. When Sophia finally broke the kiss, her mouth moved straight to my neck, her teeth grazing sensitive skin just below my ear. "Thought you could hold out on me, huh?" Sophia whispered softly, her voice teasing against my skin. "So sure of yourself, until I get my hands on you." My fingers curled into Sophia's shirt, my breath catching. I'm still standing my ground, I managed, breathless. Sophia chuckled low against my throat. Her hand slid firmly up my sides, pinning me just enough to remind me exactly who was in charge. Now, Sophia whispered at my ear. Be good. Her mouth claimed mine again before I could say another word. And this time, I didn't even try to fight it. We met up later that afternoon, away from the noise and leftover chaos of the ceremony. The caps and gowns were long abandoned, shoes swapped for something more comfortable. And for the first time all day, everyone looked like themselves again. Sam had already claimed the best spot on the grass, lying back on a faded picnic blanket like she hadn't just spent the last 4 years barely surviving finals. All right, Sam announced, the second Sophia and I arrived. We did it! Diploma secured. Existential dread at maximum capacity. So who's got a life plan? And who's preparing to fake their death and disappear into the mountains? Kate sat nearby, stretched out with sunglasses perched low on her nose and a familiar iced coffee in hand. Sleep for a week? Sell my soul to a tech company? After that, she shrugged. I dropped down onto the blanket next to Sophia, resting my elbows on my knees. At least you're not sugarcoating it. Sam sat up abruptly. No, but seriously. What's the plan, people? Big career moves? Nervous breakdowns? I'm open to both. Kate raised her coffee like she was making a toast. A little of each keeps things balanced. Sam turned dramatically toward Sophia and me. And what about our very own power couple? What's next for you two? Moving in together? Buying matching keychains? Ruining my life with how stable you are? I opened my mouth, but Sophia beat me to it. Mild chaos. Road trip. Probably a few terrible motels and greasy diners along the way. I shot her a look. Please stop making it sound like I'm the responsible one in this relationship. Sophia just smirked and bumped her shoulder against mine. Before Sam could spiral into one of her signature monologues about how unfair it was that people had their lives together, Isabella's voice cut in calm and quiet from her corner of the blanket. I'm going to Italy next month. Silence fell so fast it was almost comedic. Sam blinked. Wait. I'm sorry. What? Kate sat up, adjusting her sunglasses. Hold on. Why? What's in Italy? Isabella looked up from her notebook, blinking slowly like she hadn't just dropped a conversational bomb. Visiting my girlfriend. The group collectively short-circuited. I stared. You're what? Sam practically shot off the blanket. You have a girlfriend? Since when? Kate pointed at Isabella like she'd just discovered a government conspiracy. You've been quietly sitting through all our dramatic life crises while secretly living an international romance? Isabella shrugged, completely unbothered. She's from Milan, long distance. It's been about a year. Sam looked personally betrayed. You didn't tell us? I didn't want to bore you, Isabella answered, as if this was a perfectly reasonable explanation. Isabella! Sam threw herself back onto the grass like she couldn't physically handle this level of emotional betrayal. You're out here living a literal romance novel, and I'm still debating whether to become a barista or fake my death and reinvent myself as a mysterious aesthetic. Kate groaned into her iced coffee. I feel like I've been living in the side plot of my own life. I laughed under my breath, glancing at Sophia, who was watching Isabella with a new level of respect. Sophia leaned in close, her voice low against my ear. Think she's accepting mentees? I could use some of that quiet, life-altering mystery energy. I smirked, tucking my chin against Sophia's shoulder. Relax. You've got your own brand of chaos. Seems to be working on me just fine. And for a while, we all just sat there like that. No looming deadlines. No urgent future plans. Just the quiet comfort of knowing we didn't have to figure everything out today. Tomorrow could come when it was ready. For now, this was enough. The day had bled into night before either of us noticed. The others had drifted off with tired smiles and promises to stay in touch that were mostly sincere. Now it was just Sophia and me, walking aimlessly under the glow of streetlights, the night air cool against sun-warmed skin. Sophia's hand found mine like it had done it 100 times before, fingers threading together without a word. "So," I started, my voice low, the question hanging between us. "We did it. What happens now?" Sophia squeezed my hand, pulling me gently to a stop in the middle of the empty sidewalk. "Now," Sophia said, tipping her head, studying the girl who used to look at her like a problem that needed solving. The same girl who now stood in front of her with soft eyes and a future wide open at her feet. "Now we do whatever the hell we want." I huffed a quiet laugh, looking down at our joined hands. "That's not terrifying at all." Sophia smiled, stepping closer. Close enough that her words landed just between us. "Terrifying's never stopped you before." I met her gaze. Something warmer, steadier there. "Yeah, well, you're coming with me, right?" Sophia leaned in, brushing our foreheads together, her smile against my skin. "Like you could get rid of me now." And for the first time all day, maybe the first time in weeks, I breathed easy. Tomorrow could figure itself out. Tonight, we had each other. Olivia and Sophia proved that sometimes the greatest love stories begin with the greatest conflicts. From academic rivals to girlfriends, their journey reminds us that the heart wants what it wants, even when the mind refuses to admit it. Now I want to hear from you. Team I knew they liked each other from the start, or team the denial was real. Comment below. And if you have your own enemies to lovers story, share it. I might feature it in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe to Love Beyond Rules for more emotional lesbian love stories every week. Hit that like button if Olivia and Sophia's journey made your heart skip a beat. Thank you for being part of this community. See you in the next love story.